Hi everyone, welcome to the second part of this whale tutorial from Rita Berman's Meine Reise Durch Asian. Sorry, I'm leaning on this book because it's quite thin on this side. If you haven't done the first part, I would go and do that before this one because I'm going to do a little bit now which is on top of something that you would have done in the last video, if that makes sense. So if you pop over and do that one, unless you're just watching and not intending on colouring along, then I don't know if it will make such a difference. The thing I did say that I was going to let you know if there was anything I sort of noticed as I was colouring, because I completed some of the bits and pieces. The first thing you may have noticed is I did all these stars the same as this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them plain or if I'm going to make them sparkle, but I just wanted to tie them all together. Although this is probably a starfish, I just felt it would look nice. Second thing is there's a leaf here which is really hidden, so you may have missed that one if you've been colouring along. I couldn't leave all of these little circles white. It would have looked really messy, so I coloured over quite a few of them, and as I explained in the first video, I'm going to be doing those in probably in silver. So I didn't think it would matter. I did leave some of them white, but because the gel pen is like a paint, it makes no difference whether there's a colour underneath or not. I did some of these droplets. A lot of these are circles. I'm going to do them in the silver. What else? Was there anything else? Yes. What I'm going to do is here we have two bits of foam that are sort of overlapping and they look the same colour. So I'm actually going to do a little bit of shading on that just to make them stand out, and I'm going to do that now for you, and then we'll crack on with different parts. I think that is everything though. Yeah, so there wasn't really anything too major. Let's go in a bit closer. You'll be able to see what I've been doing a little bit better if I come in closer. Moving away some things. So here, look, we've got this area and this area. I found it a little bit confusing. I wasn't sure if this was cloud, but I don't think so because the cloud doesn't have this big wibbly line. So I'm thinking with my Cobalt Turquoise, which is the darkest, sorry you cannot see that, which is the darkest colour we've been using in this water, I'm just going to do a little bit here. So basically a little border around the edge and just bring the colour out a tiny bit. So I'm doing quite a light stroke. So it's nothing too defined. It'll just make that look maybe like it's sitting slightly above the other bit of sea foam, something like that. Like that. Really straightforward, and a little bit here. I also noticed there was a bit here, look. So I'm sort of doing it underneath as if it's a bit of shadow. Like that. I have to say that colouring this water was quite daunting for me, I'm going to admit it. I'm really pleased with how it's come out, and obviously it's not finished yet, there's going to be lots of little touches on here. I actually procrastinated a fair bit. I actually mopped and vacuumed the kitchen floor. I was procrastinating that much. It was a job that needed doing at some point this morning, so it wasn't like I was, you know, I just thought, oh, I know, I'll clean something. No, it needed doing, but I decided to do it in the middle, give myself a little bit of a breather. So I don't mind admitting that. Right, I'm just going to tidy away these pencils so I know what I've used in today's video, so I can list them for you. Right, we have our whale. He's right here in shot. Let's come out a little. He's a little bit close. There we go. Now, I had been thinking a little bit. I've been trying not to think too much about what to do with the page off camera, because I know the idea of this video was to explain my process as to what colours. Now the whale, I've decided that sometimes underneath the whale it's black, and we've got a little bit of black in here, so that will tie in with that. I don't want it a really thick black, but I want it black, so I thought we would start there. here is our black. Now I want these lines to still show through, so we need to do quite a light layer. So I'm going to start by just really putting down a lightish layer of black, and I might feel that that's enough. I've just noticed I've got a tiny gap there, and I'm just thinking about whether that is a bit of the whale's tongue. I don't think so. Or is it sea? I might have to colour it sea coloured in a minute. Now, to get an even colour like this is quite difficult. It took me a long time to be able to do this. And I'm holding my pencil further up the barrel and on its side, and I'm trying to press as lightly as I can. And I'm still getting quite a lot of colour down. But I used to find this very, very hard. So it's just practice. So if yours isn't perfectly neat, that's okay. But also, what whale has a perfectly neat looking underside? Maybe that's the right word. I can't think of the word. Okay. As I've got a layer, I think here I'd like it to be just a little bit darker. So I'm just going to add another layer, just gently. Again, I still want the markings that Rita's drawn to show through. So we don't want to plaster it down. There we go. And I'm wondering if I want a little bit of a darker line down here. I think I will. So I'm just going to mark that out and then sort of fade it down. It's that, like that. Now you could go over these lines in white to make them stand out, but I actually like them in black. I feel now this is a little bit too pale over here. I'm just going to add another layer. Also, a second layer you can use to help tidy it up a little bit. If you've got a particular bit that might be extra light, you can add a few more layers of colour to that bit. There we go. I'm going to leave it there. But I've still got the black in my hand. I'm going to add a few black details to some of the rest of the whale. Now these dots on the top, I'm thinking I might do in white, but it depends on the colour I choose for the top of the whale. I haven't decided yet. Some of these details, I think these little bits here I'm going to do in black, in the same way that I did the fish scale, so darker at the top and lighter towards the bottom part. It's a little tricky in such a small area to be able to see that difference. If you can't do it, don't beat yourself up. It's hard. Mine isn't looking that perfect. Well, it's not looking perfect at all. Just do your best, and even if it's just a solid black, you'll still get exactly the right effect. And these lines, yeah, I'm thinking of doing these lines in black. I'm not going to try and shade them. I would like to, but I think it's too tricky. So I'm just going to leave them in a solid-ish, as best I can, colour like that. Now I'm thinking this wiggly line might be nice in a really pale black. So it looks different to the bit below it, but it's still black now. I'm not sure what's going on here. Is that line? Yeah, let's do that in black like that. And I'd quite like these bits to be in pale black as well. So they look quite grey. But rather than using a grey, just like using our black. And then we know the tone works. And I'm going to do the same under here too. Like that. Now we've got this little bit around the eye. Oops, sorry. Ooh. Pencil's running away. Sorry, I've just got to grab my hanky. The little bit around the eye. I'm thinking I'm going to do the circle, this bit in black, and do the inside part in the same colour as the rest of the main whale. I'm just going to keep it quite simple. I don't want it to really jump off the page. so I'm just going to leave it like that. If I feel I want to add more, I could do a little, I could make it darker, or I could do the sides darker and the top lighter, but I'm thinking I'm happy with that. And now we have the tail. I'm thinking the very tip of the tail. I might just start a little bit darker there and move it lighter towards the end here. That's how I'm likely to colour that bit, and it will just match in. And do the opposite here, so it's darker here and lighter towards the fish. There we go. I think that's okay. I'm not sure what to do with this bit, but I'm going to leave that for a minute. Now the top of the whale, colour. I have been thinking, you know, normally that would probably be white if you've got a black base, but we're not in reality here. I can't say I've ever seen a whale pulling along a hot air balloon on a boat, to be honest. I don't know if you have. So I'm going to go for a blue, and quite a dark blue, I think, would sort of really help him to stand out a little bit. Because what was interesting was someone said to me, can you do the whale picture? And I was thinking, what whale picture? It hadn't jumped out, but actually I quite like the whale to stand out from the water. So this is the Indanthrene blue, which is, you can see, quite a dark one, and I think that will help to make the whale stand out a little bit. So I'm going to start on this fin because it's a nice small area, and I'm just going to put down a layer and just see how we're going with it, really, what it looks like. Our seawater is quite thick with regards to the amount of pencil. It doesn't mean our whale has to be. I'm thinking another layer though. Just make it stand out a little bit more. I'm not thinking we need any shading on this particular bit. I can't think where any shadows or anything would go, so I'm just going to keep it fairly even. Now, I'm thinking maybe this piece in quite a dark application. So starting quite dark, lots of layers, and then lightening as we go up, because I'm thinking it would be quite light up here. We've got the candle for a start, which would cast some light. I'm not going to do anything too fancy, like try and make some yellow candle light or anything. I'm just keeping it reasonably simple. A little bit darker there, and just lighter here. Now I've got this little line underneath. I'm going to do a similar thing. Start darker there, and then go lighter there. You could do that little line in black if you'd rather. I'm quite happy with it like that. Now we have the main body, and I think the easiest way to start is to put a layer all over. Now this is quite a short pencil, so I have to hold it quite near the end, and I'm just going to try and put down a reasonably even layer of our blue. Now if you think about a whale, they're often shiny, probably because they're wet and their skin sort of waterproof, so it sort of shines. So I'm thinking maybe up here we would have shine like we do here, or the other possibility is to draw some shine on using a pen. We could do that. Now if you're drawing on shine with a white pen, you need to make sure you have quite a thick application of pencil underneath. If I tried to draw it on here, because there's so much white paper showing through, you wouldn't see it. It would sort of disappear into the paper. Some people I've seen say, oh, I can't get my white pen to work, and I have a feeling that might be why, because if I put it on here, it's darker. It's still not really thick and dark. Here is much darker, so it would work. It would stand out better there. So it's a case of not having something that's too white already, or else your white pen just is ineffective. So I'm not sure if I'm going to draw any shine on anyway. So it wasn't something I'd planned, but I thought it was a good opportunity to just talk to you about shine. So this is quite a relaxing little bit to colour. So while I'm colouring this, my brain is starting to think about the next bit. So we've sort of done the bottom, we're looking upwards. We've basically got boat, balloon, houses, sky, clouds left. Sky is not something I'm going to worry about until the end. I need to see what the rest looks like before I decide what's going on with that. But I'm thinking about, if you watched the video yesterday, I was talking about, sorry, just bring my chair a bit closer. I was thinking about doing the balloon, which you can't actually see. I'm just going to fill in this bit. See in there, I said I didn't know if that bit there was going to be C. I'm just going to fill it in with the Cobalt Turquoise, because I think that makes more sense. So I think I'm doing the balloon orange, and I've got to think about the houses, but I'm going to shade this next. So I'm going to do it darker at the bottom and lighter as you go up towards the top of the whale. And also, because this is the very top bit here, so lighter up, but we might have some shadow from under the boat, but I don't know how worried we're going to be by that. See how we go. I'm just going to worry about the bottom first and just build up some layers of colour and then fade it upwards. So working along, I don't know how well you can see, my hand's blocking quite a lot, isn't it? It's because with a shorter pencil it's hard to keep my hand further away. There we go. Hopefully that's helping a little bit. I'm concentrating, my tongue is sticking out then. Do you do that? I wonder if you do. Sorry about that beeping. It is my washing machine is finished. I did ask my husband if he could go and empty it when it started beeping, but he obviously hasn't heard it. Oh no, someone's moving. So up here we're going to do a little bit darker, but I don't want to do too dark. Whoops. Up here I've got some blue in my cloud. Now the eye, we have got a tiny eyelid. I don't know how well you can see. I'm gonna try to make it slightly darker in the corners. It's quite tricky. And I'm gonna just try and shade that in the same pattern as this. Like that. Now I'm going to just sit back and have a look at that and see how it's sitting with me. I think that I've got an extra dark bit there which I don't like. I'm just going to erase that a little bit. Don't know what happened there. There we go. I feel like it just needs to be tidied up. So I'm going to just sort of fiddle with it a little bit to try and even out the colour. And just help. I need to erase that bit in the cloud. I might do the clouds blue for all I know, but at the minute that's not what I'm looking for. So just to try and get that fade working. Now because this is pale, I was thinking about doing those dots in white. I don't know if they're really going to show up very well. So I may have to think of something a little bit different. I do have some blue metallic pen, so that might be an option. We'll have a think. And I want it to look different to the sort of it's water, because here we've got the circles from the water. We've also got some dots here which I could, although they're black, I could go over them in whatever colour I use for this. So it's a possibility. So we'll have a think about that at the end. I'm not adding any pen on yet because I'll only smudge it all over the place. So it's always best to wait till the end. Unless you're doing a bit and you're happy to leave it to dry, but if I do that I don't know where I'm at really, or I don't know what to do next because I like to colour things together. My next piece, thing to colour is the boat itself, this bit. And I was thinking brown, and then I wondered whether I really wanted to introduce another colour. We're going to have to do something for the houses that might be a little bit different, but I'm wondering whether a grey might be better so that it doesn't look so different. So that's what I have decided to do, and I have to just find one. I'm not going to use the Paynes grey though, it's a little bit dark. Maybe it would work though, but no, I think we'll use a cold grey though. We'll use cold grey 5. Okay, I don't know how well you can see. And I'm going to make it darker on the edge and fade it towards the front, because if you look at the way the boat is positioned, this is much nearer to us than this, so this would be much darker. Got quite a lot of it obscured by our whale at that point and by our leaves. So I'm just, I've got quite a tricky bit there. I'm going to have to sharpen to get in there. Now the problem with a sharp pencil is that it can produce a very saturated colour, so you're going to have to press even lighter when you've just sharpened. I've basically done that as light as I can. Okay, there's our boat. Now we have these hearts, and I'm wondering whether to do them in the light cadmium red so that they tie in slightly with the fish, but it's quite an orangey colour. I'm not sure whether that orange is quite what I'm looking for. We're going to do the balloon in orange anyway, so I think I'm going to leave that. And I'm thinking reds though. I don't think pinks is going to quite work with this colour scheme. The reds will tie in with the oranges and yellows, but a pink is a very different colour. So, and I'm thinking we probably want to stick with a more orangey red rather than a pinky red. So I'm going to go with this pale Geranium Lake, I think. I think that will work. And let's have a think. And put a light layer down first and have a think. Actually, it's quite pinky, this one, isn't it? It'll be okay. I think I am going to make them darker on this side by just putting down an extra layer and fade them a bit towards that side, just to make them look a little bit more interesting. And we can put some shine on where Rita has drawn these lines, and if that side is more saturated with pencil, as I explained earlier, it'll show up better. I'm trying to work out where each heart is. I think that's one in there. We've also got to do these sort of ribbons, I think that's one there, that are holding the boat. I need to think of that. I always like to do ribbons in red, but we won't be doing our ribbons in red with all this red already here. So I have to have a think. I'm wondering about yellow, because we have got a little bit of yellow going on here, but not loads, so it might just help to, you know, add that. Orange comes to mind, but I think we've got a fair bit. We don't want to. The balloon's going to be orange. I think yellow might work quite well. I'm just looking to see if that's all of our hearts. I think it is. Okay. We've got the bunting too, buildings. Now, the roofs of the buildings, I'm thinking, might... I don't think I want to introduce a gold. Although we've got yellow and orange, I don't really want gold, so I'm thinking silver or grey is the way to go. And I'm wondering whether to use the colour I used for the boat. I think I actually might. No, let's use the Paynes grey. Let's bring that back in. So the Paynes grey that we used for the lamp, we use here. Now these roofs are tiled. They're very, very small. I am not going to colour each individual tile. I'm thinking it might be a little darker at the bottom. So that is how I'm going to colour them, like that. Same with this roof, it's very similar. So a few more layers at the bottom and then less towards the top. Now I tend to do the chimney pots in the same colour as the main part of the house. This one's got a little hat on it, so I'm going to do that to match the roof. I think it's just a bit of fun. Now this is a dome. We can use this colour still around the edge, less in the middle, around the edge, just start to reduce and leave a very light bit in the middle, lighter on the edge, darker on the edge, sorry. And we have a sort of steeple tower. I'm not sure, I can't remember. Steepled is this, isn't it? So I'm just gently bringing that colour in so we can get a lighter bit just in the middle. And then we have and I'm going to do the window frame in this colour. I'm going to make it much darker on the edge and fade it a little bit on the edge, on the bottom. Same here, a bit darker here, lighter here. What else have we got going on? I'm a bit confused as to what's going on here. We've got this doorway and we've got a line here, but what's this? I'm not sure. Here, dark around the edge of the dome. I'm ignoring its stripes and then just bring the colour in. You might want to do them all sorts of bright and fancy colours, and I will for some of the buildings in the book, but there's so much going on this page. I just want to try and draw it together a little bit. Now this bit down here looks like roof to me, so I'm actually just going to do that. Now our windows, I thought we would do in the palest yellow that we used already to make them look inviting and like there's nice pretty lights in the windows. This is the light cadmium yellow. I had to look it up because I couldn't remember what it was last time. And we'll pop that in our windows. And you may notice that I still haven't said what colour I'm doing the actual houses. I've got no idea. I am procrastinating by doing all the other bits first. Right, I need to make a decision. I think actually I'm going to do the balloon and then make a decision, because I'm thinking orange and I'm thinking that's the balloon colour. Let's do the balloon. I'm going to start with a palish colour and then add to it after. I rather like this, the cadmium orange, and what I might do, let's bring it all into shot, whoops, is not darken it with another orange, but use maybe one of the terracotta type colours, something like that, to make it a bit more brown, and then it won't look the same as the fish. So I'm just going to put a layer of this cadmium orange all over the balloon, trying to avoid our stars, which want to be yellow. And then we'll grab, and actually if we use terracottas we might use those for the building because it might just work. Now clouds are interesting as well. You can leave them white, excuse me, or make them pretty colours. I've done all sorts of things before. It just depends what works with the picture. I may just leave these white, but then that means I have to do a little bit of sky around them so that they stand out. I can't have white clouds and white sky, or else they're just gonna look a little odd. So there's my basic. Now I'm going to grab, I'm trying to decide exactly which one to do. I think I'm going to go with the terracotta. The sanguine is a little bit more yellow, red I mean, and I think I want something that's more brown. So this is the terracotta. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. And I'm going to use it. You can see Rita's drawn these lines for us on the edge, so I'm going to use it here first. I want quite a thick layer here, so I'm going to colour over and over and then fade it as I go in. And the joy of that cloud being there means that I've just got a small area to work on, which for me makes it slightly less daunting. And a bit here where we layer over and over. My arm is leaning on top of the orange pencil. All the others have rolled down the table. This one is under my arm. Naughty orange pencil. And same here, so over and over here, and then a bit less coming out. I'm trying to think about what to do with the top. Haven't quite decided yet. I've gone way out of the lines there, haven't I? We'll sort that out in a minute. So just putting the colour across a little bit to mix it in with the orange that's there already, like that. I think we'll do a bit at the top as well. I think it helps give the impression of the sort of spherical, it's not quite spherical, but on the bottom, put a little bit darker there and there as well. Okay, now back to this naughty orange that's been sitting under my arm. So this is the Cadmium Orange, and I'm going to go right over the top. I'm going to press down fairly hard here. Try not to get it in the cloud like I did. And then less as I come towards the middle. This is sort of the middle, this line, and I want it to be at its faintest there. So just bear that in mind as you layer your colour up. It was quite interesting. I had done a buddy colour with my friend Michelle, I'm sure she won't mind me saying, and she'd done hers in a lovely mix of different colours, and I had done my picture in a limited colour palette, and she said, oh, I just want to grab every pencil in the box and have a go, and she says, I don't know how to do the limited colour palettes, and I'm like, I'm the opposite. I would like to be able to do lots of colours in my picture, but when I do it, it looks a mess. Hers didn't. Hers looked really good. So I was sort of opposites. We both want to be able to do what each other does. I guess the grass is always greener, as they say. But anyway, she was talking about Sarah Rennie Clark's colour catalogue, and it's come out in a sort of box format that you can sit on your desk and grab one. I don't know. I know they have that. She does the one on as an app as well, I think. I'm not sure if it's for me. I can see the appeal, absolutely, but I don't know. I have to colour how the mood takes me. I'm going to use this terracotta to do the houses. Should I get a little bit closer? Maybe just a tad. They're quite small, aren't they? There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is use lighter and darker applications of the colour to try and get different colours in the buildings without using more than one pencil. I've grabbed my Paynes grey though because there's a roof there that I've missed. So I'm going to do it darker there and darker here. I can't work out if that's a bit of that building or if that tower's behind. I don't think it matters. Oh, I did say I was going to rub out where I went into the cloud. It's up at the top, you can't see. I'm just erasing a little bit and tidying up. So I won't move the book or else I might forget to move it back. Right, so terracotta. So darker here and then less towards the middle of this one because it's a tower, whereas this one is a flat house. So I think we can probably just use the same sort of amount of colour across the whole house. I don't know what that line is there. I'm assuming, oh, it's probably the back of the boat. We'll look at that in a minute. There's a bit there, you see, and a bit here. Okay, now this is more of a tower. So again, a bit darker here. A bit lighter towards the middle, a little bit tricky to do. We haven't got a lot of space to play with. We might be able to do it better here. Now we've got a front door here. And those bits I'm going to do in Payne's grey. I'll do it now because if I move along I might forget that I haven't done it. So here's the Payne's grey, and I will try and make them darker at the top than the bottom, but they're so little I think I'll struggle. I don't want that front door to be grey or terracotta, so I thought maybe the Cadmium Orange might work. Sort of tones in, but it stands out at the same time, I think so. Oops. Now this house at the back here, we've got the chimney first. I'm going to try and make it a little darker there. I'm using terracotta, by the way. Now we've got a side of the house here and then the front here. At the moment I'm doing them both the same amount of pressure and layers, but I think one would be darker than the other. This one is nearer to the light, so I'm going to make this one a little bit darker just by putting down another layer. Yeah, really simple. Here we have the same situation going on. We don't have a line down there, but I'm going to do the chimneys first so I don't forget. Just simply filling in the gap. And then adding, I'm just colouring this. That overlaps, that's a bit interesting, isn't it? Right, so I'm going to make it dark in there because we're inside, a little bit there, and I'm thinking I did that bit lighter because it's nearer the light, like this side, so this side needs to be an extra layer, a bit darker. I'm going to carry that on down there because there's a sort of invisible line there in my head. Okay, and then we've got our tower. So again, because it's a tower, we're going to colour it darker on the edge and lighter as we go into the middle. Now we have got this brickwork design and everything else going on. I'm not going to worry about it, I don't think. I'm just going to try to make it look slightly rounded like that. Okay, now I said I thought there were some bits of boat, and I'm trying to remember what colour I did the boat. I think the boat was Cold Grey 5. That's what I'm going to grab. And we're going to do this bit quite light and that bit dark. And the same here. So that bit quite light and that bit dark. And same here, that bit quite light and this bit dark. Okay, now I'm a little bit worried about this red. We haven't got any other red in the picture, but I think I can. Maybe we'll do a red candle on red diamonds and it might just balance it out. I hope so. Now we have the ribbon and the bunting. Now, I am thinking, yes, that's what I'm going to do. I am going to use, this orange. I know I said I didn't want to take away from the fish, but I think if I use the dark cadmium orange, it might just tie it in. I'm just going to zoom out so that we can get it all in shot because we've got the ribbon down here. Now, it's quite small, so I'm just going to go over it. The water is in place. This has gone over the lines. Now probably inside that loop that should be water. Now you could shade a ribbon. I do enjoy colouring a ribbon with with darker bits nearer the knot and that sort of thing, but this is so small and fine. I'm going to grab the Cobalt Turquoise just to do inside these bits, like that. Now we've got our string. This side's going up here. I don't know where that leads to, that bit. I can't see it coming out anywhere. But this bit goes up here. So let's try and identify each bit. Some is very narrow. Now this bit of decoration on the side, I'm going to just do in the same colour because it's so small. Fiddly bit. Like that. Now we've got to try and identify what's going on there. This small bit is attached to a piece here. Now I am thinking that's a bit, this is definitely a bit. I'll go out to this side first, a little bit easier. Maybe like that. It had to be a little bit of guesswork, and then we'll do this top bit. Okay, now I think these across pieces need to be in a different colour. And I'm going to use the light cadmium red, oops, holding it out of shot. And for this piece, I'm going to go a little darker in here and lighter towards the middle. I'm glad I didn't use this for the hearts. It really is very orangey. And a bit here. And less towards the middle there. Now we do have a piece coming here, look. I'm going to do that in the same colour as we did these, the dark cadmium orange. Sorry, I was concentrating then, I'm very quiet. Now the bunting. I'm thinking we need yellow. We need to tie back to one of the yellows that we used before. Let's grab this one. The dark cadmium yellow, and just do them quite flat. They're quite small. They will stand out for a nice big block of colour. I've just noticed some more ribbons that I've missed out. It's okay, can go back to that in a moment. And in the, what did we use? The dark cadmium orange for these. I think it's there and there. A little bit fiddly, but done. Now we need to do our candle. I think, right, I'm going to grab the red, the pale geranium lake, and do these first. You might want to do these in a metallic or a sparkle, but I think I'm just going to stick with this. I'm pressing quite hard, they look a little bit darker than the hearts. Is that too much red to do the candle? I don't think so. So I'm going to do it all lightly. Now I think the candle itself would be a little bit darker than the drip of wax, but we want to leave a lighter bit in the middle to help it look like it's shining a bit. And I'm just going to darken each edge just a touch at the top as well. There we go. Right, we are now onto the sky. Now we've got clouds, we've got stars. It's tempting to do quite a light sky in a light blue so that it doesn't overtake the picture, but on the other hand we need the clouds to stand out. I don't want a blue that's too close to this, so I'm going to probably use a grey blue. I probably will use the sky blue. My sky blue is quite little. I'm going to start to use it here, and you'll see it's because it's such a different colour. It's quite similar to the whale, but we haven't got much next to the whale, so hopefully it will all work. And oh, we've got a bit of ribbon there. There we go. And this is going to take some time to do all of the sky, but I'm going to try and do it in a fairly even tone of colour. I don't think there's a need for any shading in most of it, so I'm just going to do all of it. And what I'm going to do is stop here, do the sky and come back to you, okay, because there's a lot to do. So don't forget, we've got this bit down here and all the bit inside the clouds. I'm only doing the bit inside the clouds. There's not loads. I'm going to stop and do it because I've been going on quite a long time. Right, I am back and I am grabbing my silver pen to do the circles. Oops. Now I've got a set of these metallic Gellyroll, sorry for the lamp there, but this is, you can buy this singly, it's number 553, but any silver pen would work. And basically I'm going to do every circle on this picture in a silver pen. And just fill it all in. So you can use any silver pen that you've got. Remember to do, I'm talking to myself now, the circles that you've coloured over as well as the ones that you haven't. And the Gelly-Rolls are very shiny. I do have one shinier silver pen, but it's an alcohol marker, so it goes through the page. But these are, I would say, probably the best with regards to shine that I've tried. I haven't tried every pen, and there's no sparkle in them, so you might want to use a silver glitter pen instead. But I'm going to use some glitter in a minute, so I didn't want to do everything glittery. Now these dots that are at the bottom, I've actually decided to leave. I'm not going to do any more colouring on this. I'm just going to do this pen work and I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to do a border, so the clouds, although they're white and the border's white, it's just going to remain white. If you want to do something a bit different, then you can, you know, but I can't really think of anything that wouldn't spoil it really. So I decided that I'm just gonna do these finishing touches and leave the rest white. You could do them lightly pink, but then I'm not sure that pink will work in this colour scheme. Blue, but we've got lots and lots of blue already going on. This was what was going through my head. I think this is a great big one. Oh. Pen doesn't want to work now. I've used this a lot. I have got a spare, thankfully, because I think it's the one I use the most. I've used up a lot of silver pens over the years. You could do these dots in silver. That's something I was thinking of doing. I think I am going to just do some silver dotting around the edge. And actually, you could colour the clouds in a sparkly pen, like a clear sparkle, or yeah, I think we'll do that actually. We'll do that. Right, we're going to do the wave tops in a sparkly pen actually. I'm just trying to find it. This is a Gellyroll. It's number 700 and it's just a sparkly pen, and you'll see it just goes over the top of whatever colour you've done already. It's like sparkly glitter glue and just makes it sparkle without but it's see-through, so you can still see the colour underneath, so it's good fun. Luckily I've got a few of these as well because I use these a lot. They're great for wings, you know, bees wings, butterfly wings and dragonfly wings, that sort of thing, and just generally adding lots of shine. You could use stickles as well. They're bigger and shinier. I just wanted this fine shine. I'm just turning my head to make sure it's working. It is. I realise we've still got the dots to go on the top of the whale's head as well. But one thing at a time. My brain starts going into overdrive now and we're thinking about everything that needs to be done to just get this finished. Because my brain's like, you've nearly finished, well done. Just do this and this and this and this and this. I'm trying not to put my hand down in the wet pen as well, which is something I'm very good at. It's my special skill. Smudging gel pen. I know some people don't use them because they smudge them so much. You could let them dry between applications, you know, or you could, the best thing is to work from top to bottom, but unfortunately I didn't do that. I've just found some dots there that I missed with the silver, which I'm just going to go back and do. There. They're shining quite well from my angle. I don't know if they are from your angle. It's always really, really tricky to know quite what you can see. It might just look like I'm doing absolutely nothing from the, and because my screen on my camera is so small, I can't see exactly what you can see. I can see what's framed in shot, but I can't see detail. So I will turn it to the light in a minute so you can see a bit more of what's going on. And it's quite relaxing, this bit. I'm going quite fast because I'm actually hungry. It's lunchtime, I've noticed, and I expect everyone is hungry. Now I've got an awkward angle to go. I'll have to try and, oh, there's some dots that should be silver going about. There. It's finding somewhere to put your hand down to rest without, I know in here there's no pen, so I've put my hand down there. And try and avoid doing this steeple or whatever it is, but it's not really going to make that much difference. The glitter's likely to spread a bit anyway on the page. Glitter doesn't always stay where it's told to, so you may find it. I find it can often transfer to the page, opposite page, but if you can brush it off quite easily. I don't find it brushes off well with a hand because it can make it stick more if your hand's a bit sticky, you know, sweaty or anything. I use a brush and then it gets rid of it nicely. And I did used to think, oh, it will stick in the brush and apply itself to the next page, but it doesn't seem to do that. I don't know why. Logic tells me it should, but it doesn't. So I'm sorry you probably can't see what I'm doing, but you might be colouring wrong anyway, whether with this or your own thing. And we've got one left as far as I can see. It's very hard doing it like this. I wouldn't recommend it without resting your hand nearby. But it's the only way I can get in here. I should have just kept swapping pens as I moved down and across the page. Got some white to go as well. I don't know how I'm going to fit that in. Find a way. Nearly done with this one, and then I shall check to see if there's any that I've missed. No, that as far as I can tell. So you could use this as I say for the clouds if you wanted to. I'm not going to do that. I am going to grab the white though. I think I'll use a white Posca. And we could do a piece of white shine on the fish, but I don't think it's going to stand out that well. I am going to do these dots on the whale in white, and I think although the whale is pale, I think they will show up enough. Now the key, if it's pale, is to leave the black line that Rita's drawn, or some of it, so that it sort of outlines that white area and you can sort of still see what's going on. I know some people really like eliminating the black line. It's not me, it's not my thing. I like it being there. So that's white, and the hearts. It's a little bit awkward doing it without being able to get too close, but we're getting there. There. Put some on the building. I don't think I will. Not on the balloon. I think I'm going to leave it there. I think that's me done. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy not doing the clouds. I feel, you know, fine with that. If you want to, I say, I wouldn't do them pink. I would probably do some blue around the outside, so leave them white is what I would advise, or do them sparkly, but then we've got a lot of sparkle going on already in the sea. Maybe use a silver sparkly pen. I'm not sure I've got one. So they look silver, so they look different. That might be an idea. So anyway, or, you know, I say I haven't got one, but I could use my silver pen and then put some glitter on top. Or you could use like stickles. But I'm going to leave it. I think I've done enough bits and bobs on here. So thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful. To sort of, I think the first video was a bit more helpful in terms of talking about how I approached a page, and the second video was really finishing it off. But I do hope it was good for you. Thank you so much for watching. I think from after today we might be back to some shorts videos, or it might be my what I've coloured in August. Not sure. Anyway, but there won't be so many afternoon videos because I've got the builds back in really soon. But I'll see what I can do for you. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day and happy colouring.